ReasonConf is brought to you by our gold sponsors Ahrefs and Chain Street.
One thing that really struck me that's like amazing. You can see this little app here, and then you can go to a detail page, and yeah, nothing too fancy. But obviously, I didn't want to re-implement a whole map React component or just the map in itself. So one thing to deal with this is like we create bindings. We create bindings to, for example, React leaflet in that case. So in this case, first of all, with the new ReasonReact version, the bindings are really straightforward. I mean, there's like very little overhead, and it's totally refreshing. But the best thing of all, and that I find really exciting, is what it compiles to is nothing. And that's really zero cost. That's so amazing. It's like, that's the whole philosophy of the new ReasonReact version. There's like, we don't get like 100% type safety in every case with hooks and whatnot, but like it really creates zero cost where it doesn't have to. And give it up for Ricky for all his amazing work on, and all the team for his amazing work on ReasonReact. One more time. But before I let you go, I actually want to answer one question that came up yesterday, and I had a really good use case for that. I also wanted to get an answer for that myself. The question came up was like, what's the design principles behind reformat? And one thing that we discovered in the workshop, in the beginner workshop, is like, even if you type it out, in this case, the prop, it's valid syntax, But if you, in my case, if I save it, I reformat takes away the curly braces. I have no idea why this is the case. I don't know what's the design decision behind it, but what I'm definitely gonna do is, I'm gonna open an issue and ask like, if this is like, was this on purpose? If not, then I'm happy to create a PR and actually change that. If this was on purpose, I'm pretty sure we'll get a good answer and the philosophy and the idea behind it. And I've done this in the past, and I really encourage you to do that. But before you do that, always, I highly encourage you to like, there's these, in the documentation, there's like, always these snippets, design decisions. Like, if you run into any troubles, or if you don't understand the philosophy behind some decision or why it exists, look up that part in the documentation. It's really helpful. I think, in my case, it made me a better engineer, because I learned a lot of like the thinking of architecture and the design processes, and then really appreciate everyone who contributed to this part of the documentation. And yeah, if you have a change in mind, and like one thing that came up at some point in the workshops was, hey, this thing, why is it named FastPipe? And I never could give an answer. And Patrick eventually came up to me and was like, I have no idea why it's the case. I asked a couple of people, I looked up the documentation, I looked through issues, there's no reasoning behind it. But I think pipe first would make a lot more sense. It's more, to me it makes more sense. So his idea is like, maybe we can, there were a couple of ideas for 10 minutes floating around how we can figure out how this is, but eventually like we opened the PR, making a change, fast pipe to pipe first, and then a discussion came up, and there was like some good feedback, some ideas. It was like pipe first pipe, maybe fast pipe, why and why not. Eventually this worked out, and it was changed. And I think for me this was also a really good learning experience, because in the issues there was a lot of knowledge, and it's really hard to document all of that, but it is there and was there, and like I love to learn from that. But also be aware, like, don't worry, because sometimes it doesn't work out, And for example, I opened this up today because we also had this problem in the workshop. There's no React.list, and to me it's like totally non-obvious, like, why is this thing not there? So I opened this up, and like, I got a really good explanation by Ricky. He's like, you know, this doesn't align with the philosophy of this namespace that we exposed. Maybe at some point it makes sense to put in another, but like, I need to learn more about it because I didn't have that problem, or like, I didn't think about that yet. And eventually, like, I closed it because now that I understand the philosophy of like the reason why this decision was made, is totally clear. And I think this is really important to evolve like as an engineer, but also as a community. For two reasons, like, don't go randomly in open issues, like always start searching first, talk to people. Because also the people that are answering here, you know, you take time away from them. And then in the end, like, that takes time away from them building infrastructure for us. So we have to be very careful with their time. But after all, if you really can't find an answer, like, propose a solution, propose a change, anything, yeah. And that is at least like my personal takeaway from the last 2 days. There's more to come, and yeah, I asked Ben to come up on stage so we can talk about the dojos. Thank you very much.